Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today TV. I'm Sakshi Batra and this is the earnings special on the show. And I'm going to be focusing on the largest car maker, Maruti Suzuki. The quarter two earnings have come out and it surprised the street on the upside. We have been able to see a beat on both the top line and the bottom line as well. Very, very strong numbers right there being reported by the company. A four-fold jump on the profitability front. There's also a three-fold jump on the EBITDA, as well as when you talk about the revenue front as well, there's been a 46% rise right there. The total sales volumes have also gone up by 36%. Let's welcome on the show Mr. R.C. Bhargava, Chairman Maruti Suzuki, to help us understand a deeper insight into the fine print of the earnings. Welcome, sir, and thank you so much for taking the time out for us on Business Today TV. And congratulations on this solid set of numbers right there. Help us with what has really worked for the company in this quarter. And why are we seeing such a sharp jump? What has contributed to that, both on the top line and bottom line?
Thank you for what you said just now. And this quarter has been very different from past quarters. Last year, with which we are comparing and compared to which we had a four-fold increase in profits and all that, was a bad quarter in that production went down drastically because of shortage of semiconductors. And commodity prices were on a rise, and all of those adversely affected us. This quarter, everything came round and everything became favorable. We had almost no loss due to semiconductors, only of 35,000 vehicles.
Hmm.
The commodity prices have been declining.
Yes.
The rupee, while it has depreciated against the dollar, has actually significantly appreciated against the yen, the euro, and the British pound. Those all helped our earnings substantially. So if you put all of that together and the fact that customers were now not having that COVID mentality and uncertainty in their minds, they all therefore came out and started buying cars once again. So the net result was that we could sell almost everything which we had. We still have
Yes.
a large back order with us. The costs
Right.
came down significantly, both because of what I mentioned and the fact that volumes went up, revenues went up. And so the net result was that this became what should normally be a quarter uh, if everything in the world was moving
Hmm.
normally.
Right. Also, sir, we've seen that the operating margins have expanded and so have the gross margins surprised the street on the upside. Can we say this trend continuing in the second half as well?
Any long-term forecasts in this world are fraught with a great deal of danger because the world has become very, very uncertain. Having said that, certainly I don't see that this quarter three will be very different from quarter two.
Okay.
The foreign exchange situation and the commodity price situation and the semiconductor situation is going to remain the same. We will lose production in this quarter also.
Hmm.
And some of our new products are going to suffer because those are the areas where the semiconductors are not available.
Right.
So that will be a negative, but the others will be a positive. So overall, I don't think it should be significantly different either way from the quarter which has ended.
Okay. But if you could help us, give us a sense of what has been the, improvement as far as the supply chain constraints have been there, whether it is in terms of the availability of semiconductors as well. We've seen the worst behind us. Have we seen that? And, how far are we from that period now?
So as I mentioned, we lost 35,000 cars in this quarter. If you
Hmm.
look at the quarter before this, last year, I think we had lost, if I remember, something like 190,000 cars or something. So that's a huge difference of 155,000 cars in one quarter.
Yeah.
So that has been a very big difference in the volume which we have been able to put out.
Hmm. True. Also, sir, I wanted to understand on the price hikes front, you did take price hikes in this quarter as well. There has been a trend of, price hikes in this last fiscal year as well. Going forward, what do we expect on that front?
I have no real way of predicting price hikes, but I would say that looking at the conditions as they are at the moment, I don't see a price hike coming up in the near future.
Okay. And any discounts that the investors can expect now with the input cost prices reducing?
Discounts are not something which we do from here. They are a result of supply and demand in the market and regions for that matter. It can be different in different regions. So that is the day-to-day affair of the marketing guys. They keep deciding how best to deal with the market situation.
Hmm. Right. Also, sir, help us with the understanding of how has been the demand in the festive season. We've seen the peak dates of, say, Navratri, Diwali as well. What was the kind of demand that you saw right here? And going forward, what do you expect?
Sakshi's demand has been very good because, we've been carrying over a large order book for a long time. And what improved in this quarter was that we could produce more vehicles because the semiconductor situation improved. And with that higher production, the customers for buying these cars were already there. And
Mm,
fortunately, at this time, after 2 years of all the uncertainties and the kind of mental attitude which developed because of COVID, people had stopped a lot of discretionary buying. But
mm.
in this festival season, I think the attitude changed. It's changed
Okay.
as you've seen on the travel and hospitality sector. People are going out much more. And
Mm.
this time, I think people came out and start buying cars also in the same trend.
Right. So, what's been the trend, both rural versus urban demand?
I don't have the breakup at this point, but my guess is that even the rural went up in this quarter because in quarter two, the hatchback sales improved after almost 3 years.
Yes. True. Also, if you could help us understand, what's been the kind of demand for your recent launches, especially the Grand Vitara, if you could help us understand. And what is the waiting period currently, the order bookings that you're getting?
The Grand Vitara is part of our strategy for shifting our product mix to meet the current market situation as it is developing. As you know, for various reasons, the demand in the small car hatchback segment has been declining, largely affordability factors.
Yes.
And that demand being declined there, we have capacities and we have volumes to make up. And there's a growing demand, especially in the SUV segment.
Yes.
So we have to concentrate in that segment to meet the market trends. And
Hmm.
the Grand Vitara was the first product we have launched in this new product. Brezza has always been there
Yes.
to make the market. The market response has been very good. At the
Okay.
moment, we got about 70 odd thousand bookings for the Grand Vitara. About 60,000 are still pending because we
Hmm.
started delivery. But the
Hmm.
production of the Grand Vitara has been impacted by the semiconductors shortage. Is one of the products which are affected. So is the Brezza affected by the semiconductor problem.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
And this bookings are coming in roughly around 14, 15,000 every month.
Okay. Okay.
But we are not able to produce to that extent. So unless the semiconductor situation improves, which may happen by January or so,
Hmm.
we will not even be able to meet the incoming bookings, let alone the existing backlog. So
Okay.
that's the way the thing is at the moment. We have
Okay.
more SUVs lined up for the next year, and you will
Okay,
see
that's what
them.
exactly I was coming to understand
Uh,
from you. How many more, what all new launches in the SUV segment can we, expect from Maruti Suzuki?
you
Also, are you
will.
planning to enter that high-end SUV segment as well, which has been missing so far? Can investors really hope for who, love the brand Maruti to get a very high-end, Maruti product in that
No, we
category?
are, we are we are not going to get something like a Range Rover at all. We are
Okay.
not in that segment, but we will have more SUVs coming in. You will see them in the Auto Expo this time. They'll be exhibited there, and their launch will happen some early in the next financial year.
Okay, understood that. Also, the only concern that most of the investors have been having so far is that when you compare pre-COVID to now, there's been a slight slippage in the overall market share that Maruti holds to about 41% up to September. When you compare it with vis-a-vis 51% that you held earlier, say in 2019. Going forward from here, do we see the market share going back to that level, improving it further? How do you see that happening?
So actually, market share is not our primary focus. We are more concentrating on making sure that we are able to fully utilize our manufacturing capacity. That's
Hmm.
the first priority. That we utilize it in a manner which meets the customer requirements the best possible way in
Hmm.
terms of the right product, the right quality, at the right price. We are focused on seeing that we keep trying to reduce costs and make our margins better. Market
Hmm.
share is a derived outcome of how many vehicles you can produce and sell and what is the overall growth of the market. If the market grows faster than you can produce, you will lose market share.
Hmm. True. Very true.
And market
You,
share doesn't determine your profits or your growth rate or anything like that. I think we
hmm.
give too much importance to market share as such. It's good to have a good market share,
Hmm.
but it's good to also see that these other factors are taken into account. And you can't keep increasing production as much as you would like to. Sometimes the market is growing fast.
Hmm. Understood. You talked about many SUVs that we can expect in the Auto Expo and the new financial year as well. But where does Maruti Suzuki stand in the EV race, which is getting heated up right now? Where do you stand now? I remember earlier speaking with you on this, and you wanted to take it slower. You wanted to understand the market, the demand trends, and the concerns that still exist of the infrastructure. Currently, has there been any improvement in that discussion? Has there been any advance discussion on that?
No, I think our thinking has remained very much similar.
Hmm.
We are still with our plan of launching EVs in 2025.
Hmm.
We have always planned to do it with a much higher local content, which means that, as you know, now we have setting up a battery plant, which will manufacture not only the batteries, but the cells of the batteries will be made in India. And we will make sure that those batteries are up to the best safety standards so that some of these incidents which have been happening
Yes.
hopefully will not happen when we are concerned. We are trying to increase the local content. And we are also waiting to see how the infrastructure is required to support electric vehicles develops in the coming years. Because to a large extent, that will determine the kind of customers who will buy the vehicles. One of the things which recently we've come across in some of the surveys which have been done in the market is that today people who have a dedicated parking spot are the
Yes.
only ones who are buying an electric vehicle. If
True.
you don't have a dedicated parking place, you don't buy an electric vehicle because then you don't know where to charge it.
Hmm.
So small things like this one has to understand and then tailor your requirements. For example, how much of a range does a customer really want in India?
Hmm.
We know what they want in Europe and we know what they want in America. But how much does an Indian customer want in terms of the range in between charges?
Hmm.
Because that has a big effect on cost of to the
Sure.
customer of the vehicle. So little experience of seeing how electric vehicles work and what customers are thinking,
Hmm.
I think will help us to design our product mix in a more customer friendly manner.
Understood that. Also, speaking about the product mix, the average selling price, how has that moved in this quarter? And has it improved because of the better margin products that you're adding now?
I think this time it's been a little improvement. I don't have the figures readily with me, but I think the results show that there has to have been an improvement in the realizations per vehicle.
Okay, understood that. Also, one more concern that everybody has been talking about in the auto space is that upcoming financial year, we will see the mandatory six airbags policy perhaps get implemented. How will that really impact the demand and pricing of cars?
Prices will certainly go up, but the industry is still looking at the September 23 deadline.
Okay.
And I think they are still representing to government that
Hmm.
September 23 deadline may not be possible for all models which are being made in the country. And I think the industry is again going to represent for a different deadline for that. But let's see how it happens. But the result will be it'll increase costs. And
Hmm.
increased cost means a bigger impact on the smaller, lower cost cars. That's why we have said that next year we actually expect a further decline in the small car segment, that instead of a growth which will happen for industry, small
Hmm.
cars will actually decline further.
Okay, so that could be a pain point in the small car segment yet again as we approach that deadline of September 2023 with the implementation of the six airbags. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Bhargav. It's been a pleasure,
Thank you,
as is
Sakshi.
always, to speak with you and seek insights on how the industry is shaping up going forward, and also all the very best for the future quarters. Hope to catch up with you very soon again on the numbers and more details in the auto space. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Bye bye.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.